Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We are here for the Chelsea show. It's Friday night. You know what that means. We're actually going to talk about a lot of it to do with a certain Manchester City, and Pep is not a happy bunny. And Mr. Happy Bunny, or not a happy bunny, has been, saying some quite derogatory things about Thomas Tuchel's, shall we say, play style. Basically, apparently, you're Wickham in disguise. But we'll get into that in a bit. I am joined by Slen, Daniel, and Wayne. Wayne will be back in a second. But how are we all doing?
Good. Just can't wait to beat Man City, obviously. 4 in a row.
Love the confidence. What about you, Slen?
I'm feeling good. I'm having more sex than Mendy. So...
Crikey, that's lovely. The guy you're repping will not be playing for Chelsea for the near future, if ever again. I mean, that man can't stay injury free to save his life. But we'll get into where should we start? We'll start with the City game and one of the topics, which is Mason Mount. Chelsea will be without Mason Mount for Saturday's clash against Man City. Thomas Tuchel revealed Mount has not shaken off a minor injury he picked up against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. He said it's too soon. He's made huge progress, but it's not enough to be ready for 12:30 tomorrow. On whether that will alter Chelsea's approach to the game, he added, yes and no. He is very disappointed, and I didn't feel it during the match. It happened in the second half, and obviously he played through the injury and finished the game. He was even confident enough to take a penalty, an important penalty in the shootout. So it was a bit of a surprise. The steps for recovery he is doing right now, they're huge. Maybe even possible if the game could have been played Sunday, he would have played. It's a very minor injury, but it's still a disappointment for him and also for us because he is a player we count on. But it's always the same, no matter how important Mason has, no matter how much we rely on him, the task is to find solutions now without him and bring him back as soon as possible. Aaron says, hi mate, just got back from the funeral. Great service and focus switch on tomorrow now. Buzz in. But Daniel, we'll start with you. How much of a miss is Mason Mount out of tomorrow's game against City?
It's good that we've got a good enough squad depth to find a solution for him.
What will be your solution?
I think Timo Werner's going to start.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense, to be fair. What, Havertz, Werner, Lukaku?
Yeah, but he might do a 3-5-2 to put Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic in. Might
do. Probably bench Lukaku. I mean, he's not really... You're both going to be like, you're mad for dropping Lukaku. City's not his game. It's not. What? You want counter-attack? Tuchel's going to play counter-attack tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Lukaku ain't playing counter-attack football, mate. He ain't got the pace in him. He's a good player. He's world-class. He ain't playing. I don't think he should play tomorrow. Again, it sounds ridiculous. You have got Champions League, obviously, midweek as well. I wouldn't start Lukaku. But we'll get into that in a second. What about you, Slem? Mount's out at tomorrow's game. How much of a loss is that for Chelsea, if it is even a loss?
We have a very good squad. And actually, finally, he gets to rest. Okay, I didn't want him to be rested because he was okay. But that gives Tuchel another stress. I mean, he will start. I think he will start Lukaku and Werner up front. Then we will have someone else playing that number 10. Might be Ziyech. He had a stinker against Villa, so I don't know. But I want to. I want to see that person, who that person will be. And I don't know if he will start the 3 midfielders in Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic. I don't know, but it's too cold. So let's see what he does. He always comes with solutions. So I trust in him, and I know he will make the right call.
Lanzi says Mount out advantage Chelsea. Russ says you can't just say I wouldn't start Lukaku and brush over it. No, but I'm being serious. this game isn't for Lukaku, right? What you want from your forwards is pace, right? Because you are going to hit City on the counter, just like United, just like every other team that faces City. You're going to sit back.
Lukaku is not slow, bro. Lukaku is not slow. Have you seen him sprint?
He's not faster than fucking Diaz or the centre backs. What I'm saying,
he's really fast.
He's not really fast, then. He's just not. But I think this game, it just smacks Havertz Werner. It really does. Because the thing is, Lukaku's game, he's perfect against low blocks and teams that play a medium high line, because he can bash through them quite easily. I mean, have you seen the size of him? Right? This City team, I don't know. Maybe it's an impact. So I just wouldn't be starting Lukaku. I just don't think it's his game. I would probably say, because you don't want to burn Lukaku out either, do you? So I would probably as mad as it sounds, I would rest him against City, play Werner Havertz with, maybe Cho or whatever, pace, and more pace. Have Lukaku on the bench, of course. And then use him for your Champions League game. Who you got in the Champions League midweek?
Juventus.
Use him for that. I'd rest Lukaku. I know he was rested against Villa. Rest Lukaku, take him to Turin, starts against Juventus. Bonucci and Chiellini are going to cry when they see that. When they see Romelu Lukaku walk up to them, they're going to be in tears. Now, Lukaku and Diaz were clocked at the exact same top speed at the Euros. Look, clearly the stopwatch was broken. Or whatever they use. Anyway, you can't really judge a player's speed. I don't really think there's a way of doing that at the moment. I know they do, but I feel like a lot of them are made up, genuinely, because how do you even do that? They don't have anything in the boots. You can't judge their speed.
He was the fastest when he was at United, and yeah. He was the fastest. There was this time the United fans had a lot of problems with him because he leaked the results. He's very fast.
Well, maybe. Both maxed out at 31. Yeah, but again, they have something strapped to their back now. Yeah, but that's data given to the clubs. Unless the club has decided to hand over all them stats to the broadcasters, which would be a really dumb thing to do. That would be really if you are literally handing over the stats of your players to the press, that is arguably the stupidest thing that anyone has ever done. I wouldn't do that. I'd ban them. I'd keep them, but use them for myself. Whatever. I would bench Lukaku tomorrow, start Werner Havertz, use Lukaku against Juventus, because, and again, you don't want him to burn out, right? Literally, you do not want them to burn out. Unless you want Lukaku to turn into a pile of crap towards the end of the season, and then please play him in every single game possible. But Prime, we were just talking about Mount, and I said that I would bench Lukaku tomorrow and use him against Juventus. Russ seems to disagree with me in the chat. You're shaking your head, so I'm guessing you're in complete agreement with me. I know that everyone else agrees with me. I would bench Lukaku for tomorrow.
No.
I see. Wayne agrees.
Bench Lukaku. Lukaku didn't play against Villa, so he got a rest. No, don't bench Lukaku for this game. Maybe against Juve he doesn't play, or he doesn't play as much against Juve. But no, don't bench him for this game.
No, Lukaku needs to play. He's our main man.
Yeah, but if you play him every single game until the end of the season, you can be a little fucked towards the end of the season when you really do
play every single game. I would understand not playing Lukaku if Pulisic was fit.
Hey, you got Werner.
He's injured. Yeah,
you got big man Werner. Point.
I know, but I want to play. I would rather have a front three if we don't have Lukaku.
Yeah, you can. You can have big man Werner, big man Havertz. Well, little man Havertz, but he's quite pacey. And then I don't know, not Pulisic, like Cho or something.
Cho's not good.
Yeah, but he's
don't
quite
go young Cho.
Yeah, but
a long story.
Yeah, but he's quick, isn't he? Like really?
He's
Quick
not. He is
And he's
not.
wasted talent. He's wasting his
Oh, he's-
talent at the moment.
Is he not quick? I thought Cho was
Not
quick.
anymore. Not anymore. Since his injury.
Hey.
don't know.
Havertz is massive. He's massive in big games. He won your Champions League. Respect the Havertz. Respect Havertz. Unbelievable. The disrespect to us.
So obviously, I've missed majority of the stream. So what are we getting at? You're saying that Lukaku shouldn't play against Man City?
Yeah.
That's
Fine.
what said.
That is probably the biggest load of crap I've heard in a long time.
No. That is a lie. When I said Brandon Williams was world class, that was the biggest pile of crap I've said. This is second. You wait till I do. We've actually got a stream for the next international break where I'll be revealing my best under 23 team. You do not want to see who I've put left back.
I'm looking forward to that.
6'2". Yeah, but he's massive in big games, Ross. He won your Champions League. Respect the Havertz. Respect Havertz. He's better than Mount. But Mount's out of the game. Prime, you're probably not jumping up with joy. I don't think you want to see Mount get injured, but he can't play tomorrow. So there is going to be a slight happiness that he can't play.
No, not happiness per se, but
I thought I worded that quite well. You don't want him to be injured, but there's a slight bit of, happiness that he can't play tomorrow because it means you can play something else and try something different. Like, I don't know, Big Man Warner.
Not it's the thing of this. The Mountain lovers saying that Mountain needs to play, and like for me, people know my thing of I understand him playing in big games because he does have a huge effect on it. But I know what the agenda is going to be. If we play tomorrow without him, it is tomorrow. We play tomorrow without him, and even if it's a draw, I know what the agenda is going to be.
Oh, I know.
So
Come on.
It's like we desperately need to win. I think his energy off the bench will be a miss because I'm assuming he wouldn't be starting anyway. Pulisic as well, also being out, that's going to be a miss for us. Because it means
time for Ruben and Loftus-Cheek to go big time.
I'd rather play Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
That's how bad
your squad depth is looking sexy as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Ross Barkley, Jesus Christ.
We've got an X factor in Malang Sarr as well, so don't go give that away. Malang Sarr is an X factor. Exactly, that's the response I was looking for.
Unbelievable. Ross says, I'm literally respecting him. You called him Little Man Havertz. That's because I could squash him quite easily. Also, compare him to Lukaku. Lukaku is massive, right? Lukaku squashes Havertz into a, tic-tac. He is tiny. He's tall, but tiny, man. I'm disappointed he's injured because he's a good big game player, but he needed a rest anyway. Well, he sort of was going to have a rest, but your B team decided to not show up against Villa, and then you sort of had to play Mount, which then resulted in him getting a knock. So who's at fault for that? Who was playing shit that Mount had to come on?
Oh, I didn't watch it. Remember?
Was it Cho?
Neither did I was at work.
The League Cup game. Mount didn't come on and affect things because we didn't win the game anyway. We went through on penalties, so he didn't affect the game. I don't understand the reference of, Kante played bad, Mount came on and affected. We didn't win. We drew. If the rules still apply, we'd have to play a replay. So I don't want to hear it.
No, we don't do replays in the Carabao Cup. FA Cup, though. But look, he was also captain, Prime. You got to respect captain duties.
He's not my captain. Mount will be captain of Chelsea one day, and I'm fine with that, but he's not my captain.
Do you think we'll play 5 in the middle then tomorrow?
Have you even got 5 midfielders to play in the middle?
Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic.
Yeah. Do you think that would be the lineup tomorrow?
Maybe, but he's dropping. Havertz is not necessarily in form, but he is a big game player. But then again, you're dropping one of, or no, you're not one of, you're dropping Kovacic, who's been immense this season. So it's a toss-up, really.
Bench Kante.
To be fair, Kante is Kante really needed to beat City? I don't know.
I'm not even being disrespectful of Kante. Jorginho's had a very good start to the season. Kovacic has been absolutely fantastic for you guys, and you want Havertz to exploit the back line of City when they play a high line. That's not me being disrespectful. If I was disrespectful, I'd call him Tiny Man. Missing a midweek game isn't really a rest anyway, though. That is true. But no, look, obviously, big loss. But hey, Ross Barkley might come on and affect the game big time. Also, Werner, he smiles a lot, so we quite like Werner. Werner, he's decent. I won't accept any hate on Werner. Actually, talking of that, he scored with his head. He looked so happy when he scored as well against Villa. That came from Reece James' cross. So, who watched the game against Villa?
Remember, I was scoring all the scores, so I can't answer.
Slen?
I did.
Excellent. What did you make of Werner's performance?
He was excellent. He was really good. Even though we were not that front, whatever. I don't know whatever. It's still not clicking. He missed this one chance to make it 2-0. Then this Villa kid went and scored with a magnificent header. I mean, it was a very good goal, but I think Chalobah would have done better. He switched off, and the kid just attacked using Chalobah's blindfold. So it was a very good goal, but overall, a lot of players were not at it. Ziyech was trash again. Saul was not very good in the first half. Second half, he was okay. I think he was unlucky to be given a few fouls when he won the ball clearly. And Chilwell was not that good. I even saw Tuchel even stood and shouted at him when he misplaced a pass. So a lot of them were not really that good. The passing was not excellent. What else? It was not a beautiful game to watch. So it was just another one that everyone was under par. Sa played really well. Nothing really. No one really performed where I can say like his performance deserves a start in this match. Apart from Kepa was very good. And yeah, that was it. It was not that interesting.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I want to touch on Kepa actually, right? Because technically he's the greatest ever penalty saver in Chelsea's history, better than Petr Cech. So, Kepa is clear. I am joking and being extremely sarcastic with that comment before any Chelsea fan comes for me. If you can find me on Twitter, it's @LadimusPrime. But talk to him. He loves Kepa, so talk to Prime. He'll deal with you. But no, I want to talk seriously about Kepa because I feel like under Tuchel, he's got a bit of a rebirth. It's sort of like brand new Kepa time. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to drop Mendy for Kepa because that would be literally absurd for now. I mean, if all it takes is a couple of shockers from Mendy and then in comes Kepa Arrizabalaga, which I'd be quite keen on. Prime, we'll start with you on this one, considering you absolutely adore Kepa. How impressive has he been under Tuchel in the games he's played? Look, the FA Cup, no keeper in the world is saving that shot from Tielemans. But every time Kepa's been called upon, Kepa's actually done a bloody good job. So how impressed have you been with Kepa under Tuchel? And how impressed have you been with Tuchel, considering that when he first came in, Kepa was probably, I have no idea what his mental state was, but I can imagine below ground zero. So how impressed have you been?
Tuchel has handled the Kepa situation exactly the way Lampard was supposed to handle it.
Yeah.
Ease him take him out of the firing line and ease him in lesser games, quote unquote, to build up confidence. There's a stat. Well, I think he's played like 10 games or something under Tuchel. Kept about, I think, 8 clean sheets. Has not made an error leading to a goal, which is massive because 2 seasons ago he was apparently making errors left, right, and centre. He has that record for penalty shootouts now. Look, I kept telling people this guy is brilliant in penalty shootouts. I said last year that in the Champions League final, if it ends up going to penalties, Kepa will come on and win us the game. People were trying to fight me and saying, no, Kepa can't touch the field. No, yada, yada, yada. I said in the Super Cup, if it ends up going to penalties, Kepa will come on and win us the game. People were screaming at me saying, no, that's not true. That's not true. Last year in the Carabao Cup, when we had to face Spurs in our first round, went to penalties. Lampard kept Mendy on and lost us the game. That was in Mendy's debut. No, and that to me is horrific. Okay, a keeper should be able to save penalties. When I look at your attributes, especially if you're supposed to be, and this is not me picking at Mendy, by the way, but when you're supposed to be a top goalkeeper, I expect you to be able to save penalties.
Some
it's not that hard to save penalties.
Some keepers just thrive under that pressure of a penalty. Like they just absolutely love it. I don't know why, because if I was goalkeeper, last thing I would want to do is face a penalty. Like Jesus Christ! Like,
it's not that hard. Like I haven't played.
I don't know. If I go the other way, mate, there's a big goal for them to aim at, and I'm a tiny person.
Yeah, like when I was younger, like when I first started playing football, I used to play in goal, and obviously this is different. This is pro football and playing as a kid or whatever and playing for teams. But like
to be fair, it's quite fair. I mean, Martial is probably what you average amateur footballer, so it's about the right sort of combination.
Yeah, but my point, like, it's not that hard to be able to study penalties. And it's not that hard. Like, I look at keepers right now. The reason why they can't save penalties is because they're too rash with it and they dive before it's hit and stuff. Like, there are ways to study penalties and there are ways to and I don't know what Alice Kepa has, by the way, but he just knows how to deal with penalties. Caballero, same thing, just knows how to deal with penalties, which is a great asset for us to personally have because, when, like, for example, last season, United fans were saying they've got the 2 best goalkeepers in the league and stuff like that, yada, yada. But none of them are really that good at penalties. And I'm not saying Kepa is a top goalkeeper yet. He will become one. And I don't know, maybe he'll become world class at a different club. I don't know. But to have that attribute of being a penalty specialist is impressive. Look at Donnarumma, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And he's got that attribute of being so confident when it comes to penalties.
It's because he's like 6'10" point.
It's not just height though, because Kepa's 6'1" and he can deal with penalties.
No, I know that, but Donnarumma is definitely a presence in goal for a penalty shootout.
Yeah, I mean you can say that, but it's also a skill trait to have. And I'm just happy Kepa's back playing again and he's confident because all the stuff he had to go through in Lampard's first season, him being, going through mental health problems, him being depressed, and I know what that's like. And the fact that Chelsea fans just kept laughing at him and abusing him is ridiculous. And I don't want to bring this into it, but if Kepa was, black and he was, and that abuse turned into racial abuse, people would call it out, but because it wasn't, and because he's Spanish and he was getting racial abuse, but because and I don't want to say this and people are going to think I'm playing the race card, but because he's white, that people just ignored it. And I was the only one calling out that he's going through actual mental health problems. He should be taken out of the firing line. The mistakes he's making is not all his fault. It's also the defense that's part of the problem. It's Lampard part of the problem. People were just telling me that, I don't know what I'm talking about and yada, yada, yada. Tuchel comes in, our defensive structure, allowed our defenders to improve. Christensen and Rudiger were looking like they were bums and Azpilicueta was apparently finished. And now we've got the best defense in the world all of a sudden. And Kepa looks confident and reassured. I'm seeing Chelsea fans saying if he has to play against Man City, it's not going to be a big deal. I won't be worried. They weren't saying that a year ago,
I like how they phrase it. If he has to play, it's like,
but we
what
don't know
if Big T wants to go with Kepa? What if Big T's looked at Kepa and gone, do you know what? I like what I'm seeing. He looks really composed, looks really calm in goal. Maybe Tuchel. It's unlikely, but maybe Tuchel does want to stay with Kepa because.
Well, Kepa's not our first choice, but it's the thing of, like, it's, I don't know if Mendy's fully fit yet, but if he's not and Kepa has to play, I won't have a problem. I said in the summer, like when people were saying Mendy's going to Cup of Nations, we have to buy a new backup goalkeeper. It's fine. Kepa's not going to be a problem. You know, the game that he's going to be missing. I don't know exactly who we have to play, but more than likely we'll win all of them. So it's not going to be.
Could you imagine having to try and sign a backup goalkeeper because you're without you're going to have to play Kepa for 3 games? Like, are your fan base serious, or would they like someone to smack him in the face?
Like, I mean, people were saying he's the worst goalkeeper in the league. People were saying, like, again, people were saying stuff like he's the worst goalkeeper in the league and stuff like that. No, it's ridiculous. Like this. Again, he's not a world-class goalkeeper, but this guy is one of the better goalkeepers in the Premier League. When you have Arsenal, who have Leno and Ramsdale, Spurs have, likes of Lloris. Yeah. Like, he's better than them. He's better than Dean Henderson. He's better than Pickford. He's better than Nick Pope. He's not better than Schmeichel, but like this guy could.
He's probably
Liverpool, Man City, Man United, and Leicester. He can play for everyone else in the league.
He's top 5 goal. He's the top 5 goalkeepers in the league, if not top 6, top 7. He's definitely one of the top ones. But
the thing is with Kepa, from my opinion, is that he's much. I don't think the amount of money we paid for him, I think that affected him when everyone was putting it as a label on him.
Well, yeah, but
when Lampard,
he was the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. Of course, they're going to label him on that. I do think what Prime said was right about Lampard, though. I think Lampard was I'm going to say something which, and again, you have to sort of. Lampard the player and Lampard the manager are 2 different Lampards, right? You have to be able to distinguish that. Lampard the manager was the worst manager Chelsea's ever had, because he didn't have man management skills. His tactics were absolutely fucking woeful. He looked completely lost, and he should never have. I understand giving him the job for 1 season, but he should never have been given it for longer than 1 year. Right? Whilst you have the transfer embargo, cool. Get Lampard in, then look at reassess after that. And I think Roman Abramovich did the one wrong thing, which is he let 1 season dictate what he was going to do long term. And Roman Abramovich isn't normally like that. If he's got an idea, he's going to stick with it. I don't think Roman wanted Lampard for more than a year. I think because Lampard did so well and got in top 4. But even then, I would argue and say, did he really do that well? Because you nearly lost top 4 towards the end of it because you went on the worst run of form ever and that was coincided with Ollie, who went on the best run of form post-lockdown with United. So I think Lampard was the main reason that Kepa was completely lost and low on everything. And not just Kepa, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, basically all of them. Everyone was affected by having him as their manager.
Like, people don't remember, Lampard took Kepa out in that first season in like, I think a month or 2 maybe or something before lockdown, and he came back just before lockdown, and he played against Everton and played against Liverpool. Those 2 games that people pride how well Billy Gilmore played, apparently. People don't remember Kepa kept 2 clean sheets and made 3 reaction saves against Salah and Mane. Yeah. You know, the Premier League, soon to be crowned champions. People don't remember that game. People don't remember he came back after his time taken out and he was playing really well. You know, so I don't know. But I'm just happy that he's back to his best. And when we eventually sell him and he goes to a new club, I just want him to have a brilliant career.
Yeah. Ross says he was statistically a worst goalkeeper in the league at the time, to be fair. And again,
the defense was the worst in the league. It's not just Kepa. Everyone played. It's not just Kepa. So we can't blame him for that.
So Mendy will miss Liverpool, City, Spurs.
No big deal.
No, I wouldn't be afraid of that. He got us top four with a bunch of kids, to be fair to him. To be fair to him, so I don't think it's fair to call him my worst manager ever. But hold on, I want to deal with this one. He wasn't a bunch of kids. Azpilicueta, not a kid. Rudiger, not a kid. Christensen, not a kid. Jorginho, not a kid. Kovacic, not a kid. The only kids in your team were Mount, Tammy, and Reece James. Marcus Alonso, not a kid. You only have 3 kids in your team.
No, not 3. We only had the only kid I'll give you is James because he only had 1 season on loan at Wigan. At that point, Mount had played 2 seasons at Vitesse and 1 at Derby. That's 3 seasons out on loan playing men's football. And Tammy has played a season at Swansea. He played a season or a season and a half at Aston Villa. He played about a season or 2 at Bristol City. That's about 3 seasons, 4 seasons. Yeah. So they're experienced. It doesn't matter.
I don't think it's fair to call them a bunch of kids. You definitely didn't have a bunch of kids. We almost bottled top 4 this season as well. So well, no, Ross, because Tuchel took you from 9th to top 4 and won you a Champions League. Mount took you, Frank Lampard took you from 3rd to 4th, nearly to 5th, bottled an FA Cup final. I mean, no. This is just.
Also,
I don't know. I don't.
Champions League final. We could have won. We could have won a double. So that's not fair to compare.
Yeah, but I also don't really get what you're getting at, Russ, because you said that there was a bunch of kids when actually your entire team was a bunch of experienced pros. Like
it was Lampard's. Lampard didn't have to play these kids as much as he did because in reality, what rescued us and got us over the line for top 4 was Olivier Giroud coming into the team and Christian Pulisic being fit. Pulisic is not a kid, by the way. He's an experienced pro. He's a captain of his country. So, I just think saying it's a bunch of kids. I mean, I think Ollie had more kids in his team.
Ollie had Mason Greenwood, who had just broken onto the scene, no loans. He had Brandon Williams, who hadn't played professional football, or men's football. So he had 2 kids. And I mean, raw kids. I mean, literal, they took them from their under 21s, plonked them into the first team. Now they're playing men's football. So I think Ollie had more kids. So, I mean, you can argue that, and Ollie finished 3rd that season. And Lampard finished 4th. So clearly Ollie is better than Lampard because Ollie had two proper kids to deal with and Lampard did not. Alisson, De Gea, Martinez, Luis Mendy are top 5. Fuck off with Luis. Are you joking? Replace Luis with Ederson. He's a midfielder. United had the youngest squad last season, I think. They did. Ollie has a hell of a lot more experience than Lampard. Yeah, but Ollie had 2 kids to play with, but Lampard didn't. So, there is that. But moving on. Let's talk about. Let's stick with the City thing. Victory would give Thomas Tuchel's side a 6-point advantage over City, and would make the German the first manager ever to win 4 straight matches against Pep. He actually said. Tuchel, this is. Not so long ago, there were a lot of voices who told me I don't know how to beat Pep. Anyway, it's not between me and him. We don't play a match of tennis or chess tomorrow. We play with our teams and they compete with each other at a very high level. To believe you can do it is the most important thing in sports and at this kind of level. We have the belief we can do it. We know very well what it takes to have the possibility to win. And I have the feeling it does not take a miracle to beat Manchester City. But it's absolutely necessary to bring out the best performance. This is tough enough. It's one of the best tests in European football. The game is on tomorrow. It's at our stadium and we feel ready. But let's be honest, if we win, we don't get crowned as champions. If they win, they don't get crowned as champions and us left in depression. Wayne, I'll go to you first. Thomas Tuchel. Has he got in him to beat Pepper a 4th time in a row?
Yes, he's. I think Tuchel's got Pep's number. I think Pep overthinks Tuchel too much. I think if you saw that in the cup final, he even admitted he thought he knew how to beat Tuchel in the Champions League final, and Tuchel's did a masterclass on him. We don't have to score many goals against Man City, but we know what we need to do is be strong enough in the defence and goalkeeper, and use our pace and use our qualities, what we've got against them. And I just think Tuchel's got his number. I just don't think Pep's got an answer for him at the moment. If he does tomorrow, hands up, well done. But I just don't see it. Just don't see two. I can see us winning again.
Yeah, Slim, what about you? Don't think Slen is there. Prime?
Beating him.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Russ Lampard gave one under 21 games well any other club over the same period. I don't know what that means though. Statistically, he's our worst manager, whether you agree with it or not. But it doesn't matter.
Instead of looking at their age, can you look at how many appearances they made in men's football? Because nowadays you can't break onto a scene a lot earlier. Like Kai Havertz is an experienced pro now because he's played a lot of games for a very young lad. I think even Greenwood's hit over 100 appearances now. Mount has also had the same. Reece James has now done the same. So look into a context. Don't just give me an age. I want the appearances. How many minutes did he give someone with 50 or less appearances in men's football? That would be a better stat because that would be an inexperienced young player. Given an age, I mean, you got Kai Havertz, Werner, Greenwood, Foden. They all play a lot of games and they're all very young lads, Mount included. So that's how I would do it now. But yeah, Prime, does Tuchel have it in him to win again?
Yes, I think. Well, yeah, I think it's down again. Like what Tuchel said, it's not a tennis match. It's down to our players turning up and adhering to the tactical plan he sets up. I think what is interesting is that with Pep, if this was him playing any other team, he would play the exact same way. But the fact of we played him 3 times already, and I don't care whether people say City fans say he rotated sides or whatever. That City squad is stacked, so it doesn't matter who they play really. But the fact of he's played, he's played with 1 DM against us. He's played with 2 DMs. He played with none in the Champions League final. He tried playing with a back 3 in the FA Cup semi-final. He's played with a false 9. He played Aguero up front with Jesus in the semi-final when Aguero missed his penalty. Like, I don't really know what he's going to do. Is he going to try and match us again? Formation to formation, he'll play a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2? I don't know, because when I look at his injury list, and I was talking to Jessers before the stream, and he was telling me that Stones, Laporte, and Rodri have travelled with the City squad. Then apparently Zinchenko and Gundogan are out, which I don't know. That's interesting because that means they won't necessarily play a back 5 or a back 3, but it's like who.
Unless he was to do Diaz, Stones, Fernandinho with Cancelo and Walker as wing backs.
Yeah, and he's played Fernandinho up centre back 2 seasons ago.
Many times.
But he hasn't done that recently. So for him to do that would be weird. However, it's Pep, and he tends to do something weird like this in these sort of big games. So maybe he would. But It's a thing of. I think like you said, Chelsea win, we go 6 points clear. I think it's a thing of from Pep's point of view, and he's not this sort of manager. But if I was Pep, I'd go into this game thinking it's important for us not to lose, even if it's a point. I take that. From Chelsea's point of view, it's a thing of if it's a draw, I don't necessarily think it's a big deal because Liverpool will drop points. But I don't know. I do want to go into this game and win. And it's important to keep up this win streak. And if we can beat them 2-0, 3-0, which is maybe a lot to ask of, but we can do that and strike some sort of fear into everyone else, and that's massive.
Yeah, I hear that. Ross says, now there's a big difference between playing in the Eredivisie and the Premier League. Well, yeah, but Mount also played in the Championship, and you can you can disrespect the Championship all you like. It's one of the most physical leagues in the world. Trust me, so is League 1 and 2. They're all physical. Havertz played in the Bundesliga, as did Werner. Pulisic played in the Bundesliga. And the Bundesliga is one of the top 5 leagues in the world. So only Mount played in the Eredivisie, but he also played in the Championship as well under Derby, and that had teams like Leeds, Aston Villa, Middlesbrough. I could go on. So yeah. Where's the guarantee Liverpool drop points? Why can't Chelsea drop points? Well, you drop points to Chelsea.
But I said if Chelsea draw.
So Val, do you think Liverpool are going to go from right now until the end of the season and win every single game, which has never been done before?
Obviously, we're all going to drop points. Obviously.
Eventually, yeah.
Like, I don't know. Whatever, you've confused me. I don't know. Whatever.
But I want to talk, carrying on with Pep. He actually made a statement on the Champions League final defeat. He said, "We played a great final. Unfortunately, they were much better than us with long balls and second balls." Daniel, I'll start with you on this. For a manager to use the word long balls would suggest that he's definitely having a dig, especially considering that Pep is, the master of tiki-taka. Do you think that he's having a little dig at Chelsea for playing long ball?
I just think he's very stubborn.
Yeah.
To be honest. And the thing is with Pep, he doesn't like to admit when someone's got his number and anything. He likes to be always right, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And always wants to be make himself look good.
I don't think it is that. I used to think he was stubborn. I don't think he is. He is. Well, maybe it depends on what you mean by that. I think Pep. I think Pep thinks he's smarter than he actually is. People are going to think I'm disrespecting him. I think, for example, someone like Mourinho he'll do something different in a one-off game and win it. For example, I've seen him, put Herrera to man Mike Hazard, or he's played Zuma in midfield to do a tactical job or whatever. He'll do something weird to win a game, a one-off game like that. Pep can't do something. At Bayern Munich, he played up against Barcelona and decided to man-mark each and every one of their players, and they lost 7-0 on aggregate. He went to a Champions League final without a DM, something stupid like that, just trying to prove how smart he is, trying to beat someone. I think, I don't know, in the Champions League final, Pep just play the same way they normally play.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, they beat us. I can admit that and say arguably they probably do beat us. And I think if Pep just plays his way against us, they have a better chance of beating us than just trying to do something stupid and changing it, because he's not that guy. With all due respect,
he has. The thing with Pep, he's one of the worst managers ever because his ego just gets in the way. I don't care what he's won, and I'm about to get if I can find any City fans in the world, I'm about to get them in my DMs. But for me, Pep isn't one of the greatest because the man is too stubborn, and he fucks about at the worst times. Like in a Champions League final, he starts with no DM, no striker. Plays with a false line and no DM, right? That was never going to work. Then he plays. Then you look at the FA Cup semi-final when he goes to a 3 at the back. I think the Pep wants to make it the Pep show. It's all about Pep. Look how good I am. Look at what I'm getting these boys to do. I beat Chelsea in the Champions League final with no DM and no striker. Look incredible. I am amazing. When in actual fact, he cost his team the best chance of winning a Champions League they'll probably ever get. because at that point, Chelsea was strong, but they weren't better than City.
No.
PSG were not that good. They had Mbappe and Neymar. Now look at them. So I think that was Pep's best chance of winning the Champions League, and he's not done it. And if he doesn't win a Champions League with all the money that he has spent at City, he would be classed as a complete failure at Manchester City, because he was brought in to bring that club their first ever Champions League. They didn't care about how many Premier Leagues they've got. They could do that with any other manager, right? They did it with Mancini. They did it with Pellegrini. Neither of those could win the Champions League. Pep was brought in because he was the master of the Champions League and could not do it if he doesn't do it. And that would be classed as a failure if he leaves City without Champions League. And that's down to him because he had his best chance. He blew it by not playing a DM or a striker, in my opinion. Ross says, I think he just gets into his own head. Might do. He needs someone to just tell him to not act like a twat and do something normally. What happened to Mount? He picked up a knock against Villa. Klopp, Memphrey and Ollie's head. Oh no, it's just mind games from Ollie now, isn't it? So what happens if a referee isn't giving you penalties? Well, you moan in the press and say, oh, they're doing it because Klopp said this. And then referees will instantly think, oh, maybe we should be giving that penalty then. It's all mind games. But I mean, think what you want. He thinks he needs to be smarter when all he really needs to do is play the same football that he was already winning plenty of trophies. I completely agree. Slem, what about you? What do you make of the comment he made about Chelsea playing with long balls and second balls and all that crap? Basically referring to you as Wickham in disguise.
I was going through a tweet today. I can't remember who that was who tweeted, but we had almost the same long balls in that match. Chelsea had 6 long balls, right? Yeah, Chelsea had 6 long balls and City had 7 long balls. The difference is that match. The difference in that match was chances. City created 0 big chances. Yeah, where Chelsea created 2. We missed 1 big chance, and I mean, if you don't create chances against a team, you don't score, and you'll find excuses. And he's learning from another German. I don't want to mention his name. To come up with excuses for losing. I mean, you can't come with stupid stats like
I'll
long
say his name,
balls
Jurgen
against
Klopp.
your team. Yeah, okay, thank you. I mean, City had 7 long balls. We had 6. It doesn't say those teams were trying to defend and hit balls on the counter. If he was talking about the FA Cup match that we played against, did we play the FA Cup match before the Premier League? Yes. If he's talking about the FA Cup match and long balls,
you played the Premier League game first.
The one we played first. I think it was the Premier League, I guess. Yeah, the one we played first. If he's talking about that one we can agree, because we had a lot of not long balls like the Burnley ones, but we had Mount trying to release Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. So I don't get where he got those stats from. It's just made up, and I think he's just playing mind games, because tactically he's been beaten. You've been beaten 3 times by the same coach using different tactics. I mean, so he's trying to use mind games, and we all know who the king of mind games is. If that was Mourinho, I would be very
Shitting
terrified.
yourself.
But
you'd be literally shitting yourself right now.
Yeah, if that was Mourinho doing that.
If you had to face Mourinho with that team, ay caramba, that could end badly. Really badly.
So those are just excuses here and there, but he was beaten fair and square.
No, I hear that. Moving on, I want to talk Thiago Silva, because Tuchel also spoke about him. Asked if Thiago Silva could stay at Chelsea beyond the end of the season. He responded saying it's on him. Who says all players need to deliver if they want to play for a club, but age is does not play a role. All that matters is whether he is at the level needed. Do any of you think that Thiago Silva might extend his stay at Chelsea for another season? I think we all know that no one is giving him a 2-3 year contract. It'll probably be a 1 year rolling contract until, you know, either party isn't wholeheartedly happy of what they're getting. But Prime, you nodded your head. Do you expect Thiago Silva to stay another season? His family quite like it at Chelsea, don't they? Also, big up to Wolf.
Yes, he will, because Rudiger's leaving on a free. So, he's leaving on a free. So Thiago Silva will extend. He'll have to extend in terms of experience and stuff in the squad, which I'm fine with. The guy is playing effortlessly. You know, he is the best centre back in the league currently. I don't care what people say. You know, he doesn't look out of place at all, and I see no reason why we can't extend his contract. If we let him go, you know, this guy can start for any team in the Prem right now. You know, this guy, he'd go to Man United and make them better. You know, he wouldn't go to Arsenal, but he would improve City. He'd improve, you know, Liverpool, or he could go into Europe, maybe back to PSG or go to Real Madrid. He'd improve them. So I think giving him another year or two and letting him retire at this club is, you know, an advantage towards Chelsea, especially if, you know, Rudiger is asking for like 400,000 a week, which will make him the most expensive.
We'll get into. I've already got Rudiger down. That we're discussing that one in.
It's just
in a second.
Ridiculous. So I'd rather, if it's a toss up, I'd rather keep Thiago Silva. Give him. I know we don't really do it, but give him a 2-year contract. You know, he's more than worth it. And even if it's a thing of he's not playing, even if it's a thing of he's not playing much in those 2 years, it's perfectly fine, because having that sort of experience in the squad, you know, is invaluable.
It'll be crucial, because you can't. You can train a player to do a tactical system, but you can't train a player experience. That's just something they have. So I do get that, especially if you want to win trophies like the Premier League and the Champions League and the FA Cups. It'd be vital in an FA Cup if you want to succeed in an FA Cup or Champions League. You've got Club World Cups. There's so much he can do. And there's so many games in the calendar year that he would still get game time, even if he wasn't a focal part of that Chelsea team. He'd still get games in Carabao Cups, FA Cups, the odd occasional Champions League, maybe a big Champions League game if needed. So there is that game that there are options for him to play. That's what I mean. Wolf says, how are we doing? All good, Wolf. All good. I think everyone else is okay as well. I'm jealous of Chelsea, very tactical, experienced at top, proven manager who certainly wouldn't let a horrendous player like McFred in his squad. Tuchel goat. He probably takes McTominay. It would improve McTominay. Fred, no hope. There's no hope with Fred, but it would improve McTominay. I believe there's actually a player in McTominay, because there's a reason, and I'm going to point out Mourinho, who I have said towards the end of it wasn't working at any club in England, probably because of the media and all that crap. Still a great manager. McTominay was brought in under Mourinho through the youth academy. And Mourinho didn't normally bring players from a youth academy, but he liked McTominay. So that clearly suggests that there is something in that player that Jose Mourinho liked. And Jose Mourinho, no matter what, is a serial winner. If Jose Mourinho likes McTominay, that suggests to me that there's probably a player in there that he actually likes. And look at Tammy now. It wouldn't surprise me. I could... If Ollie didn't like McTominay would be in Roma right now with Jose. That's how much Jose liked McTominay. Because everyone here can vouch. Jose wasn't really a manager to bring through the youth, was he? The stunned silence suggests that he was.
Are you asking me? Or
I said no.
Well, I just sort of said.
I said no. He didn't bring many in.
No.
Well, no, that's ridiculous. He doesn't if you're, again, not every young player in your academy is actually that good.
What I was getting at is that progressing the youth wasn't really Jose's main part of his game, was it?
Well, but like I just said, not every young player is actually that good. He only brings through them. I'm getting to the point. Like, he only brings through them if they're good enough, or they can adhere to his tactical instructions, or if he actually thinks they have something about him. Like he did with Varane, developed John Terry, Lampard. You know, he brought through. You just mentioned McTominay, who I think is actually, he may not be like special in terms of talent, but I think he is very good, and he could be. You know, he reminds me of Henderson in a way. Like Mourinho only brings through players that he actually rates, or he thinks can do a tactical job, or they're good enough. He's not going to play you for the sake of playing you because you're a young player, and it adds to his stat of he's brought through young players in this. No, because that's just, if you're someone who thinks that way and just wants young players coming through for your club, like especially if you're like a big club and you're supposed to be chatting like that, I think that's a bit ludicrous. But it's my personal opinion.
I hear that. Harry says, "Hi, son. I'm a massive fan of yours. Please give us a play-by-play minute prediction of how the match will go this weekend." We don't have 90 minutes to do that, I'm afraid. But Donny could give Ollie a BJ, a hat-trick, and a fantastic massage. It still wouldn't be enough. Donny could literally have fireworks out of his ass and it wouldn't work. Not all heroes wear capes. They wear a yellow t-shirt. Big up Slen. Slen's getting a lot of love now. A lot of love. But no, I just wanted to bring up that McTominay because I do believe there's a player in there. I just don't think that Ollie's not utilising him because McTominay's more of a box-to-box anyway. It's why he scored didn't he score 9 goals or something last season? Suggests to me he's box-to-box, not a DM. But hey, keep forcing him into a double pivot with Stinky Fred because he really does stink up a joint. Now, on to Rudiger. Last topic of the show, and I've left the best till last because Antonio Rudiger appears in no great hurry to sign a new deal, and he also wants quite a bit of money. Speaking on his future to German sports news agency SID, Rudiger said, "For me, this will be now the most important decision of my professional career. But he has also admitted he hasn't spoken to any other clubs other than Chelsea." Prime, you mentioned that he wants 400k a week. Do Chelsea give him that? And yes, then you can do that whilst when you talk about Rudiger, because they sort of interlink, don't they? Rudiger and Silva do. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
What, Rudiger in his contract? No.
Yeah.
He's not worth 400. I thought, and Chelsea fans, you guys have added to this, gassing him up and saying he's the best centre back in the Prem and stuff, and he's work. No, he's not worth 400. No, never. Give that to Silva or something. I don't know. Never. If we're not buying Haaland and giving him that amount and stuff, I'm not. Why give it to Rudiger? It's tough. But again, the thing is you're losing currently on form one of the best centre backs around. And who do you come in and replace him with? They're going to take time to gel and yada, yada, yada. But there's also that thought at the back of my head of if we give him this big contract next season, he's going to fall off a massive cliff. So, is Chelsea have to think real smart and tactical about this? If we had brought in Koundé summer, maybe that would have helped. But, Chelsea are not going to give him 4. I think Chelsea will be smart. We'll either try and get the wages down and make it more an incentive-based thing, or we'll just let him go completely because Chelsea are not stupid.
It's going to have to be one of the best tactical masterclasses from Marina I've ever seen in my life because she's going to have to convince. I know that, but she's going to have to really, really get them wages. I would say you pay him no more than 250, and even that might be a bit of a push. It still makes him a top earner. That would be. I don't think he'll get 400k from any club.
Because if he's asking for that and we give it to him, Mount is supposed to be the face of the club. How much is Mount going to ask for come the end of the season when we've won the Prem? Reece James, come the end of the season, will be the best right back in England or one of the best right backs in the world, how much will he ask for? How much is Lukaku going to ask for one of the best strikers around? How much is Aspie, a club servant? How much will he ask for when he renews his own contract? Any players we're looking to buy to add to the squad, how much will they ask for? Kante, how much is he going to ask for? Jorginho might win the Ballon d'Or. How much will he? It's just a knock-on effect.
To be fair, with the way of Kante's personality, he probably would do it for free if you asked him nicely.
I mean, you say that, but I'm not going to test or push anything. Like Rudiger, either we bring that price down or he can go because no one's bigger than our club.
And to be fair, I don't think Rudiger will get 400k from any club. Realistically, I can't imagine many clubs doing that. That make him a top earner at almost every other club, barring United, but that's because they've got Ronaldo. I mean, realistically, that's madness. Wolf says, big up Niall, Prime, and my boss Daniel as well. Rudiger, low. Yeah, Rudiger's having a madness. But Slen, interlink this with Silva. So what do you do? So obviously you got Thiago Silva, who's out of contract at the summer, as is Rudiger. Thiago Silva's not going to be an arsehole and ask for near $150,000 a week to play football. Rudiger appears to be like, I want $150,000 a week. What do you do? No, not $150,000. $500,000. Which is even
first
more.
First of all, hats off to Silva. He's an absolute professional and he'll be very good. He's been very good to Christensen. I think the way Christensen has risen in quality or form or whatever we can call it, the way he has come good since Silva came, it's not a coincidence. Surely he's been seeing what Silva does. He listens to what Silva tells him. And kids like Buyamba, and I know a lot of Chelsea fans on Twitter are hyping this guy, but I've watched, actually right now, there is a match going on between Chelsea and Development and Liverpool, and we're already down by 1-0, and it's around 20th minute or 20-something. Buyamba is not the best centre-back even in that level. Like, he's really not that good. He's like Sa. He tends to switch off, and when he switches off, he's big, he's quite tall and strong, but he doesn't use those attributes. With Silva around, he can learn. And I was very happy to see him training with the first team the other day. I was very happy to see him on the bench against Aston Villa. He will learn. And Silva is that person who will teach you on how to deal with instances where you need to be, what you need to do, when you need to dive. I mean, he will teach these kids. And on the other hand, Rudiger is not being a good example. He's doing a Willian. I mean, he's been good. He's been really good. Yeah, his form has been up there. Everything about him has been green all season. I mean, he's so good. But we all know why he's doing this. We all know after he gets the contract, he will go back to that Rudiger who let a certain West Ham player who is left-footed score. Was it 2 goals or was it a winner against us when we lost 3-2, I think, or was it 3-1? Yeah, there's a time we lost against West Ham, and he was at the end of a lot of mistakes. And I know he's in very great form at the moment, but will he continue being that person? I mean, I know he's 27 and people are saying he's in his peak, but he's doing better right now because he wants money and he wants to secure the bag for his family. He's 27. He said with his mouth, like, this is the most important contract, and he's trying to milk Chelsea. And if Chelsea decides to accept players doing that, we'll end up like Barcelona. Yeah. So Marina is smart. I hope Marina doesn't bend to Rudiger's strokes. And yeah, so if he wants to go, we can sell him in January. He can go to Bayern. I really don't care. When a player starts feeling like he's bigger than a team because he has come good for 9 months, and how long has Rudiger been in this team? 4 years. Yeah, he's showing the best form in the last year of his contract. Why? Because he wants money. So I don't like when players do something to get money. Like Willian did that with Chelsea, and we decided, okay, fine, you can go. You're going to a rival, fine. We don't care. You can go, but we're not allowing players to milk us. I mean, we won't be cash cows for players who wants to maybe retire. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm so pissed with Rudiger. I was very happy with his performances, but the more this keeps dragging on, the more I feel bad and hate what he's trying to do, and eventually I'll hate him. So I just don't like players who try to use a team the way he's trying to do to manipulate us. I mean, he would have been good since the first day he signed for Chelsea. And we can say, yes, he had injuries issues, his knee and all that stuff. But you can't show up in your last year of your contract and say, and we call it a coincidence, or we say, this is the Rudiger that we thought we had signed, or this is the Rudiger we had signed and he's coming good. He's doing that for a reason and he wants money. And if your motivation is money, oh, okay, yeah, we all wake up to go and look for money. But if you only perform when you need a pay rise, we don't need your Chelsea. So he can go if it's true he wants to earn that amount. I read an article where they were saying he thinks he deserves what Timo Werner is earning at the moment, but let's see how it turns out. But it's really bad, and it's giving us. It's been a very good few months since Tuchel came in, and we were happy and everything. But now such news makes you wonder why you had to love some players that much, because I don't know. But let's see what happens. But I'm really pissed. I really don't like what Rudiger is trying to do. He's trying to do what Tammy tried to do. Callum did it and won because Bayern had come to try and get him from us. But it's not right. It's not right when players trying to do this for a team that gives you a platform, and just play for the badge. And if you're given a contract, if it's that 150k, you can tell them you can add 10 or something. Just be reasonable. And I just don't like what is happening, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Wolf says Rudiger asking for 400k and Mouse asking for a lion cage. Lukaku isn't even paid 400k. Why should he? I agree. Daniel, do you have anything to say on the comments from Rudiger, or what Rudiger wants?
The thing is, Rudiger does not deserve this 400 grand a week, because it's only like Sven says, 9 months he's been good. But you've got like Azpilicueta, who's been good since he's joined. You've got I'm trying to think who else. Thiago Silva, he's been good since he joined.
Yeah.
Who else?
And don't forget, Thiago Silva had to accept a pay cut. I mean, someone who's bringing experience accepts a pay cut, and someone who is good for 9 months after signing. I can't remember when he signed, but he's been here for quite a long time. But I don't know, man. It's sad. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Prediction: Chelsea 2, Man City 2 is from Max, if not 2-1. Big up all, especially the main man of the preview of Aaron and the premiere. Thank you. Doing a few different things. Wolf says, I am supporting Man City. Well, Chelsea have truly become the best team in the league, and they are the team to beat. We'll see if Chelsea can do that tomorrow morning. I won't be doing a watch long because it's so early in the morning. Also, Formula 1 qualifying is due at 12:45. We'll see if that happens at 1 p.m. English time. We'll see if it starts at 1 p.m. We might have the similar situation with Charles, which is may end up doing a watch long, but it'll be Formula 1 stuff anyway. So yes, make sure you do join us for that. We'll be back. I'll be back at 10 p.m. with RJ. He's hosting the United show at 10 p.m. So make sure you tune into that. talking about Ollie, and I'm sure Ollie out is going to get spoken about. So make sure you tune in for that. Before you go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. Follow us on socials. Twitter, Let's Talk EPL, Instagram, Let's Talk EPL, and on TikTok, Let's Talk Premier League. In Russia, the vodka drinks you. This is true. Yeah, the vodka in Russia is lethal. Daniel, where can they find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter at CSCDanielMTG. Also, me and Abdal are going to make a YouTube channel soon. We just need a logo, and then we will be starting. And follow the Twitter as well. Shed End Shotters, please.
So make sure you do that. Make sure you do that.
Hold on. I've got to do something. Can I just say,
where can you find you, Prime?
Latimus Prime on YouTube or on Twitter. The Terrace on YouTube, FreshXI on YouTube, and everyone subscribe here.
Perfect. Cheers for coming on, mate. And thanks, Max, for reminding me United lost. Cheer up, Wolf. It's it could only get better from now on. How many hours now is the next stream? The next stream is in 2.5, I think. Yes, 2.5 hours. So 2.5 hours we'll be back here for the United show. And then plenty going on this weekend, but we'll get into that later on tonight. Slen, where can they find you, mate?
First of all, if you're here, please like, share this YouTube with your friends, and let's go to 1K now. And you can find me here every time we have a Chelsea chat, and Twitter Slen TV, YouTube Slen TV, and on Instagram it's at official Slen. Yeah, it's official Slen.
Perfect. Liam says 2.5 hours. He says, yeah, we should be on time. It is RJ, so I'm sure we'll be fine. Thank you. Not a problem, Wolf. Not a problem. But yes, we'll be back in 2.5 hours with the United show. It should be an interesting one. Should definitely be an interesting one. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back in a bit. But peace out.